Hi, I'm Emma Paulette. I am a health coach, personal trainer and yoga teacher, and I'm based in Albany, Western Australia, and I have my business called Blue Sky Vitality. And I welcome you to this webinar, which is all about meditation. So with all the training I've done on exercise, diet, I really think that stress reduction is the number one thing you can do to increase your health and well-being, and also to help you lose weight. And I also think that meditation is probably the best way to start to manage your stress levels. So in this webinar, we're going to cover off why meditation is so important, how it actually affects your health and well-being. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to do it. So quite often we feel like we get a set of rules of this is how you must meditate, and that might not suit you. So I've got a few hacks and tricks in here to teach you how you can work meditation into your lifestyle. And then of course we are going to practice a meditation, so a short sort of 5-minute meditation at the end, and so you can get started straight away. So first of all, I really want to talk to you about what's brought me here to this passion about meditation, and we'll start there. What brought me to meditation was about 18 months ago, so January 2015. That's me with a broken wrist. Within a space of about a week and a half, I had broken my wrist, I had crashed my car, and I'd gotten my first ever speeding ticket. And so at that point in my life, it felt like everything was going wrong. How come this is all happening to me? You know, what have I done to the universe? And lots of blaming started going on. And I just felt like crap, to be honest. And so I wanted to sort of figure out a way to feel better. And when I spoke to my boss at the time about it, he sort of said, well, you're not being very mindful, Emma. Like, all this stuff's happening because you're not paying attention. And when I started to think about that, I realized my head was just busy with stuff. I was always thinking about what I had to do next and never quite present. So I was recommended a mindfulness coach. So yes, I've had coaching myself. I think everyone should get coaching from time to time. So I got myself a mindfulness coach, and I learnt meditation. And by the middle of last year, I had had 90 days of meditation straight. So this is one of the apps that I've used for meditation, and it shows you that I did 90 days in a row. And so for me, that's when the magic started to happen. It started happening before, because to stick to it for 90 days, obviously something was working for me, but it really made a difference to my life, and I wanted to make a way to fit it in. So 90 days in a row. And then this is a picture of me at the end of last year, in October, and I was actually, that's photos taken in Tuscany in Italy, one of my favorite places in the entire world. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I started the year broken, literally, and ended the year in Italy. I think that the connecting thing was the meditation and learning to become more mindful, more present, and to be happier and more focused. So that's why it's so important to me. I've seen the magic of meditation. So what we're aiming to do here is, when we get to quieten the mind, we'll find that our soul will speak to us. The things that we really want in our life will jump out at us, and we'll be able to find real happiness because we're doing what really is important to our soul. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of tonight's webinar, I would like you to start thinking about your intention for this webinar. What's brought you here right now? Why are you watching this? Before the start of every yoga class that I teach, I always ask my students to think about their intention, what brought them to the class. Because what we do know, a very well-known yoga principle, is that energy follows awareness. So whatever we bring our energy to, that's where whatever we bring our awareness to, that's where our energy will follow. So I want you to be really clear to yourself right now about what's brought you here tonight and what you would like to get out of this webinar. And you'll get an opportunity to type or ask me questions at the end if you want to. So if I haven't answered the reason you're here by the end, then please let me know. My intention is to share with you what I know about meditation, and to get you started on your meditation journey, or to get you back onto it if you haven't started one already. And that's why I'm here. So what exactly is meditation? Meditation is a mindfulness practice where an individual trains the mind or induces a mode of consciousness to either realize some benefit or to actually just acknowledge the thoughts that are going on in their mind, and then without becoming identified with those thoughts. So a lot of people think meditation's all about just clearing the mind, but actually it's about more than that. It's about acknowledging what's happening in the mind and letting it go. A lot of us need to learn to let things go. So why should you meditate? There's been lots and lots of scientific studies over the years, and the things I'm going to bring up now have all got some proven science behind them, but these are the really important reasons why you should meditate. One is that it can help control depression. So obviously, you know, the brain is quite complex, and there are, you know, chemical reactions that can cause depression, but becoming quite mindful and practicing meditation can help reverse some of those chemical disruptors and can also help us to let go of whatever is causing the depression. Secondly, is it can help reverse the fight or flight response. So when we get stressed, our body goes into fight or flight mode. All the blood flow goes to our arms and our legs and away from our digestive system, away from our torso. And we just get ready to run away from our perceived threat or get ready to fight it. What happens is, if we're in this position for a chronic period of time, so it's happening over and over and over again, then we will get into an even more serious fight or flight situation where we release a lot of cortisol. Cortisol will be encouraging the body to hold on to belly fat. So in fact, stress can make us fat. And the fight or flight response is not something that we should hold on to for long periods of time. But unfortunately, we've got long-term stresses these days. Jobs we don't like, mortgages we can't afford, relationships that are not very happy. So meditation can actually help us release that fight or flight response, go back to rest and digest, and just allowing the body to become a lot calmer. It can help with headaches. So again, we don't know how the brain works 100%, but we know that meditation can help relieve headaches. And I've put wine up there because only very recently I've started to get a lot of headaches from wine. And so, you know, it can help relieve some of those tensions in the head. It helps us become kinder. So it helps us become more accepting of other people and more accepting of ourselves. And my mum reckons that's the thing that's changed the most for me, is that I'm a kinder person. I don't think I was a meanie before, but I think, you know, I just am a lot more compassionate than I used to be. It helps to boost our concentration. We have less of those distracting thoughts. So this is where I was when I started my meditation practice. I was thinking, my brain was just going 100 miles an hour, and that's why I was injuring myself, hurting my car, getting speeding tickets. So it helps to relieve that, and I know this is true because it's happened to me. It'll help us with our immune system, so we'll get fewer colds. When we do get sick, we'll recover from them quite quickly, because again, I guess it's some of that feel-good stuff that's going on in the body will help to protect us from immunity. Help protect our immunity from colds and things like that. It helps us become more present and calmer and better problem solvers when it comes to relationships. So I don't know if you've been following Constance Hall on Facebook, but she's become quite a phenomenon on Facebook. She sort of tells it like it is. And this is quite a long post, but it's about how she's noticed that a lot of men that she knows are in a lot of serious situations with their relationships. Their wives are kind of leaving them, and it leaves the men absolutely devastated and sometimes needing hospitalisation because they're having breakdowns. And what happens is, when we're not present, we become avoiders and we avoid the bad situations in our lives. So what we're saying here is that if you can become more present in your relationship and more present in life, then you are less likely to fall into these really bad situations in terms of relationships. There's a much much reduced risk of heart attack and stroke. And again, we're reducing our stress levels, and so we're making sure that our body is functioning better in our cardiovascular system. Much better sleep, less things to worry about, less clutter in the brain, so more likely to sleep well. And it does help with our creativity. It helps with those aha moments that Oprah likes to talk about, but it helps to really create pathways in the brain, and we can have, you know, ideas and thoughts and patterns in our brains that we've never had before, which can really make life feel better. It can make our brains a lot more youthful as well, so they're not aging as fast. And I avoided Snapchat, this is the Snapchat icon, for a very long time because I didn't quite get it. Too old for Snapchat, to be honest, but I've sort of gotten onto it recently, and I wonder, because I'm on another streak with my meditation. I've been meditating now for about 52 days straight, I think. Again, I wonder if that's making me more likely to want to be on Snapchat. I'm a bit younger in the brain. We decrease our sensitivity to pain, so we can put up with a bit more pain. Not that we want to get rid of pain, because pain's obviously a really important response in the body, but some people get really sensitized to pain and feel it much more than they should, and so meditation can help with that. Better test scores, able to retain information better. And I've put a picture of the Colosseum up here because at the beginning of the year, after my Italian trip last year, I started learning Italian. And I have a good friend who's been studying for 3 years, and I've been studying for 6 months, and she feels like, you know, I'm a lot further along than 6 months, and perhaps, you know, I'm catching on to the new lessons of Italian faster because of the meditation practice that I have. And we get less work-related burnout. So, you know, if you asked me 5 years ago to still be at work when it's, you know, 7:30 at night, and I had a lot of stress trying to get this webinar working because my software wasn't working properly, you know, I wouldn't have dealt with that in the same way as I did tonight. So just it becomes a bit easier to be more resilient and less work-related burnout as a result. And there's a lot more stability in moods, less anger, less extremeness in responses to things. So less anger, less extreme sadness, you know, less worry. So we get to be a bit more stable when it comes to moods. So as I said, there's a lot of information there, and a lot of these reasons to meditate have come from this particular article. And so if you're really into science-based things and you want all the science that backs this up, you can go to this website and you can get a link to all of the science that backs up the reasons why meditation is important if you're into that stuff. So the thing about meditation is you become more and more you. And that's what I've found with my meditation practice. Since I've been meditating, I'm doing more of what I want to do. I'm able to be stronger and more assertive in my life without being, as my mum says, I'm a much kinder person, so I'm not being a bitch about it. But, you know, you get to be more and more strong and grounded in your own self, which is really great. So how should you meditate? There's lots of different types of meditation. There's mindful breathing, there's a mantra style of meditation, there's visualization, there's candle meditations, there's, you know, yogas and moving meditation. So there's so many ways that you can meditate. But I use the mindful breathing technique personally, and this isn't our meditation tonight. I just want to quickly take you through how a mindful breathing technique works. It's really quite simple. You choose an upright position, you sit so that your back is supported. You can sit on the floor or on a chair, and just setting yourself up with the time, especially when you're starting. So you might put it on your phone, or you might have the kitchen timer going, or you might have a song that you like that's like an instrumental song, and you just allow that to start playing or start the timer, and you take a couple of deep breaths just to get yourself centered, and then you allow your breathing to become very natural and effortless, and then you just pay attention to the breath. So just noticing the breath in your body until you've realized your mind has wandered off and started thinking about something else, and then you come back to your breath as soon as you've noticed. It's as simple as that. / as hard as that. You know, so when we go through an actual meditation shortly, you'll be able to see what I mean by that. So I highly recommend, if you haven't meditated before, get into some apps. So the first app that I really recommend is headspace.org. Not to be confused by Headspace here in Australia, it's a slightly different thing. But this has lots of great animations and videos and explains about meditation and how it works. So it's a really great place to start. The second one I love is One Giant Mind. It's a mantra-based meditation, but it has a lot of information about, you know, if your mind's wandering or if you have to stop and go to the bathroom in the middle of your meditation or whatever. And it teaches you some really good techniques so that you don't feel like you've failed at meditation. I have used OMG I Can Meditate for a while, and that's got lots of little fun ones like walking meditations and, you know, commuting and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, there's different types of meditations on that one. And I'm currently using Calm, and it has a daily 10-minute meditation that has a slightly different theme each day. I'm finding that one quite great at the moment, but everyone is different. So don't be afraid to break the rules when it comes to meditation. I've just given you an example of how you can meditate, but that's not the only way you can do it. So I want to give you some hacks on how to deal with meditation so that you're not always feeling like you have to sit still. And if you find a way that suits you, you're more likely to do it. So I want to give you some ideas of how you make it work for you. So if you've got really persistent thoughts during your meditation practice and you can't quieten your mind at all and you're finding that irritating, because remember, you're never going to quieten the mind completely, but if you find that really hard to deal with, then have a piece of paper and a pen nearby, and you can just jot down, open your eyes, quickly write down, you know, whatever's bothering you or keeps coming up, let it go and come back to it later. So it's okay to write during a meditation. You don't have to, but if it works for you, then do it. Secondly, is you don't have to sit. So again, I've just mentioned you'd sit, but if you find that really hard to sit still, if you're that one of those kind of people like my father used to be, then you want to find a different way. So you can do it when you're standing in line at the supermarket, for instance, or you can do it when you're walking. There are walking meditations. You can do it while commuting, so when you're on a bus or a train or a plane. Don't do it while you're driving, but you can do it any other time when you're not actually physically doing something. Also finding the right time of the day for you. So again, I meditate first thing in the morning, and a lot of people would recommend that you do. But for a lot of people, that's just not a good time. You're trying to get the kids out the door, you're trying to get ready for work, you're trying to get breakfast in, you like to sleep in, whatever. That might not be the right time for you. I find a lot of my clients actually find lunch break a really good time, because if they work in an office or whatever, because you can leave the office, or you can go and sit in the park, or you know, even sit at your desk, no one's really paying attention. That might be a good time for you to meditate. So finding the time that suits you is a really important thing. And you can actually be doing something rather than sitting there doing nothing. So you might actually have a cup of coffee, for instance, or maybe tea is a better option. And you might just really mindfully drink that cup of tea. So paying attention to every single sip, noticing it as you swallow it. That can be like a type of meditation. Or maybe you're cutting onions, slicing onions, and you're just really paying attention to each time the knife hits the onions and then hits the cutting board. So really being mindful about whatever you're doing. Mindful eating is another good one. You get guilty about eating, you know, chocolate or whatever, but next time you get a chocolate bar, eat it mindfully. Pay attention to the feel of the wrapper in your hands. Notice the sounds as you open it. Feel it in your mouth. Taste it. You're going to enjoy it much more. You may not even need to eat the whole thing because, you know, you've really noticed how good it felt. And the thing to remember is that the benefits of meditation are dose dependent. You're not going to get benefits from doing one meditation practice. You need to do it more often than that. And ideally you do it pretty much every day. So it's not going to all happen from one session. So you do need to be patient. And sometimes that's why we choose to meditate, so we want to become more patient. So you've got to be patient right from the beginning. And the other thing is you can try a mantra. So if just sitting there not saying anything is really hard for you, you might like to say, as you breathe in your mind or even out loud, you say breathing in, and as you breathe out, say breathing out. Or perhaps you count your breaths, 1, 2, 3. Or perhaps even you might like to do the classic Om, or whatever it is that works for you. But if you find sitting still and not speaking for very long is hard, then chuck in a mantra and see if that works for you as well. And if you're like me and you're a type A person and you like to be results oriented, then maybe you want to start tracking your meditation. So this is my Calm app inside my Calm app. And so as of this morning, I was at 52 days in a row, and I really, really want to get to 365, and being able to visualize that is a really important thing for me. So if that sounds like you, then I highly recommend getting an app, and you can start to track your meditations. And this is the same thing. Meditation is like a gym in which you develop the powerful mental muscles of calm and insight. And so meditation is like a gym. You don't go to the gym once and get a six-pack. You need to go a lot, and meditation is the same. Okay. Are we ready to meditate? Hope so. So what I would like to do, I'm going to put on some beach music, just to get us in the frame of mind. And while I'm doing that, just get yourself into a seated position. You can be on the floor, you can be on a chair, but what I would like is for your back to be supported. So I want you to be able to sit up fairly tall, but I don't want you to feel like you have to sit rigidly with your back really tall, because I want you to feel supported. So I've just got on our little ocean waves. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's just going to be our little background. So get rid of any distractions as well. If your phone's nearby, just turn it off for now. Sit on that chair or on the floor, have your back supported, and just let your hands rest gently in your lap. And when you feel ready, just start to close your eyes and take a big deep breath in through your nose. Notice your chest and belly start to rise, and then exhale. Notice the belly and chest start to contract. We'll take 4 more breaths. Inhale, big inhale, and exhale. Feel that breath in your body. We'll do 3 more. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. And 1 last one. Inhale and exhale. And keeping your eyes closed, just allow your breath now to become effortless. Don't need to control the breath in any way. You may breathe in and out through the nose if that's comfortable for you. And bring your attention now to the breath. So notice as you breathe in and breathe out. And just keep your attention on that breath. You might feel the breath in your body, or you might just notice the breath at your nostrils or your mouth as you breathe. And it's as simple as that, just staying with attention on your breath until you notice your mind has wandered off and you've started to think about something else. And when you notice that, just very gently bring your attention back to your breath. So become curious about your breath. Follow your breath from the moment it enters your nostrils until it leaves your body again. Notice your breath as it enters your body, follow it into your lungs. And then follow it as it leaves your body. If you notice that your mind has wandered off, just come back to your breath. If your mind has wandered off, just very gently bring your attention back to your breath. And now as we come to the end of our meditation, just gently bring your attention back to the room. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a nice big deep breath to center yourself. And when you feel ready, just gently open your eyes. So congratulations, you've just meditated. So I'm not sure how you found that, but obviously, you know, it's a strange thing when you're getting used to it, and it's still strange 18 months later. But if you learn to accept the strangeness of it, it's actually quite cool. So well done. So I love this quote. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. So I think that's what meditation does, is it helps to change you very subtly, but quite profoundly over a period of time, both with your health, but also your happiness and your just sense of well-being can be greatly improved from meditation. So I wanted to thank you very much for being here. And if you'd like to learn more about meditation or about working with me at all on stress levels, exercise, nutrition, any of those things, if you feel like you could sort of do with up-leveling your life, then you can use this link to book a free 30-minute session with me, just to figure out if working with me is right for you. So I'd love to offer that free session to you just for being here. I really, really appreciate that.